anyway, let's do this Matt Walsh stuff. So Media Matters basically found these old audio recordings from Matt Walsh's earlier career as a radio host, where he spoke about why he feels, and this is from 2011, that he talks about why he doesn't think people get outraged, why he doesn't understand why people get outraged, I should say, when a 16-year-old girl or 17-year-old girl becomes pregnant, because their fertility is already in place. They've had their periods and they're ready to bear children. The reason this is notable is because Matt Walsh has been one of the loudest voices in his and good job by the Surfs putting up this image of him on this audio clip. I believe it's the Surfs or Media Matters, I'm not exactly sure, in front of the banners of What is a Woman.
Yeah, this might be the Surfs themselves, but the audio itself comes from a Media Matters report from Ari Drennan and others. Very comprehensive.
Right, and the point is, though, that he's been constantly talking about how the left and LGBTQ people are groomers, and they're obsessed with the bodies and the genitalia of young kids, and they're butchers. And it seems, though, that Matt Walsh is the one who's fixated a bit on the bodies of children.
It is not. In fact, ever since the beginning of time, teenage girls have been getting pregnant. It used to be more common. The peak, ever since they started keeping records of these things, which they only started doing recently, like in the 20th century, but ever since they started keeping records, in 1957 was the peak for teenage pregnancy. 1957. Not 2009,
well, back
not
then,
today.
All of them were supposed to have kids. Like, that's when you had kids.
That's my point, okay? So to all of a sudden act like this phenomenon of girls getting pregnant at a young age that we consider young, 16 or 17, to act like it's a new thing is ridiculous. It's always been that way. Even biologically, and this is me just stating, right now I'm going to start by just stating facts. So fact number one, it's not a new phenomenon. Fact number two, in fact, it's a phenomenon that was more common earlier in history, and for
less civilized
6 to 10,000 years of human existence, it was a normal thing. Fact three, girls between the ages of like 17 and 24 is when they're technically most fertile.
Yeah.
Okay? That's biological. That's a fact, all right? I'm just stating facts. That's all I'm doing. But what happened recently, and this is the fourth fact, recently in the last 30 years or so, we decided that that's way too young to start a family.
Why?
And because now
divorce rates would probably go up, and once you're that young, you can't really make sure that you know.
No, all right, pause it. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's divorce rates. The reason that girls were getting impregnated at young ages throughout history was because girls and women were property. They were property for men. And when they get their periods and when they begin to become of an age where their bodies could biologically produce a child, they were immediately sold off as a part of, I don't know, some sort of deal between people, or it was a marriage that was arranged, or it was a convenience for different families to someone who deemed them an appropriate mate without their choice or their agency. And the reason that we don't do that anymore as a society is because they are children. And it's wrong. So Matt Walsh, I mean, man, maybe he should bring back this segment, and he can have some of our libertarian callers populate his comment section, because age of consent is one of their primary operating principles. But it's just this is the guy who says the left is obsessed with children's genitalia. I
mean, ultimately, over time period, fertility decreases in humans, not just reality. But I'm seeing 18 to 24. What do you say, 17 to 20? It's just weird which numbers they come up with.
No, he said 16 to 24.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Right. You are more likely to be able to have children earlier in pregnancy.
But continues to your 30s.
Yeah, right. It's just about when you decide to make that decision for yourself. The reason that young girls were getting impregnated was because they didn't have a choice, because it was seen as their duty, and they were either raped or forced into sex in many instances.
Married off by their parents.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was not their decision. It was either their parents' decision, and when it was time to have sex, it was oftentimes the man's decision. And that could come in very violent forms or sometimes consensual forms, but the reality is the genesis of that union was not the girl's decision.
Well, this is why they were able to get on board with Roy Moore, because the Roy Moore situation where like, and I can't remember the specifics, but like they were rationalized as like, well, what if like this was okay with the parents or whatever like that? And it's like, yes, actually that did happen a lot, and it was bad.
Right.
That like a leading figure in a community, recently widowed or whatever, would say, oh yeah, your young daughter, that's mine now. She's going to come procreate for me and do my dishes. Right? Like that's how it worked, and that was a less civilized time.
And that's also why modern conservatives are able to see the view that, you know, child sex trafficking and grooming of children to be LGBTQ is perverse and disgusting. But also I support lowering the age where children can get married in red states. That's why they see there's no incongruence between those two kinds of thoughts. But keep going.
Way too young to start a family.
Why?
And because now
divorce rates would probably go up, and once you're that young, you can't really make sure that you know.
No, girls are no.
Girls were getting married early, and marriages were lasting longer. You very rarely hear about like these relationships that go to their your diamond anniversary, your 50th anniversary, and all this. That's a dying breed of people out there.
Yeah, and those were all people that got married very young. That's why
they're still alive.
Yeah, that's why you can have someone in their 70s who's celebrating their 55th wedding anniversary because they got married when they were teenagers. So what I'm saying is that the problem.
You know what? Honestly, we should bring back marriage of children just because the esteemed institution of the diamond anniversary is a dying breed. And what is society if it does not have a widespread number of diamond anniversaries? I mean, honestly, we might as well be animals.
Yeah, I mean, we should go back. Like, those people were married before, like, no-fault divorce, right? Like, I mean, we should go back to maybe we should just make divorce illegal or against the Bible or something. Like,
then diamond marriages for all.
Exactly. Like, it's ridiculous. Yes, people were less empowered to get out of relationships that they didn't want to be in. The idea that you would say, oh, no divorce equals definitely happy marriage, that would be news to anybody who studied the history of, like, marriage and divorce.
To go to their your diamond anniversary, your 50th anniversary, and all this. That's a dying breed of people out there.
Yeah, and those were all people that got married very young. That's why they're
still alive.
Yeah, that's why you can have someone in their 70s who's celebrating their 55th wedding anniversary because they got married when they were teenagers. So what I'm saying is that the problem is not per se teenage pregnancy, it's unwed pregnancy. That's the problem in society. It's only problematic when you are not married and you don't have the man there to help you take care of the kids because he's a coward. And the reason why we have that now are for two reasons. Because we have in current society, we live in the age of extended adolescence.
Oh my God.
Yeah, where are the fathers? That's basically. So I guess now we have the context for that segment.
Extended adolescence is a good way to end that clip because I have another old Matt Walsh clip. This is from years ago. It was posted by, let's see here, Bradley, if you have that. It's the one where he's burned a book. Yeah. So this is a tweet put out by Ari Drennan. And just Matt Walsh with one of his friends in a Bill Press book about the right-wing media here, and literally burning a book. And listen to some of the comments he makes about as he's burning this book. And think about what he said, suspended adolescence, as these two boys burn a book on a grill.
You just don't judge us for this.
How'd the Nazis do this?
You wait until we learn how to use fire. We're gonna burn our damn fingers off. Oh, there we go. Woo! There's you some toxins. You just don't judge us.
So there you go.
Cool guys.
Stuck in adolescence.
Seems like, yeah.
How'd the Nazis do it?
Where is right?
You're doing it right, guys.
They must.
You got it. Just believe in yourselves.
Right. They got a lot of girls in that time period, I would guess. Just two boys sitting around a grill
Burning a Bill Press book.
The ideal date for me.
Yeah. Put that on your Bumble.
Iowa, there's no evidence Tua had a concussion against the Bills. Stop spreading misinformation and denying medical personnel expertise. The NFLPA fired the guy because they found enough reason. Are you joking? It's not a grand conspiracy. He had a concussion against the Bengals and was handled according to medical expertise. That doesn't sound like a joke. This sounds like an idiot that's writing in right now. Sorry.
Keep continuing.
I shouldn't say that about our viewers. No, that's it. That's all they had to say. So I was waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Oh, well, if the expert said so, good enough for me.
Yep.
Da-da-ba-da-ba-ba.
You might not be an idiot, Iowa, but on this...
You're credulous.
You're, yeah, I would, some Nigerian princes have an email awaiting you in your inbox. Illuminati kids, bring back multiple marriages and make anniversaries cumulative. This is how we save marriage and unlock anniversary levels like never before seen. We never seen it before. The institution.
We could marry them at 1 year old and have people that were married for 100 years if they live that long. It'd be great.
We're talking about diamond marriages. We're getting into platinum. Unobtainium marriage.